I was there on the 25th of November, of November. And, you know, the right wing and Macron and other opponents of the Yellow Jackets have said that these were all racist right-wing parties there that were actually doing this thing. But in the many people I talked to, I interviewed, they were working class people, they were retirees, they were professors, they were medical doctors, they were mechanics who were protesting the austerity. The inability, teachers talked about privatization. One student we met said that he had gone to Sofia to study English. He came back to France to study English. All they had was one class, one semester. So he said, how can I learn English with one semester class? So there's a cutback of public education in France as part of the privatization and the austerity. And France has a great health system. They're hurting the health system. They're outsourcing the health work. So we in the United States, of course, have no healthcare system. We have private capitalists control the healthcare system, in which they only want to take care of you if they make money. And people are literally dying because they can't get treatment. People are going bankrupt because they can't get treatment. People are losing their homes. The highest cause of bankruptcy in the United States is healthcare costs. That's a crime. Everyone should be entitled to healthcare. Now, we heard yesterday that Trump said he's going to pull out of Syria. And we support that, but I think he's going to continue to bomb them. The United States has spent $250 billion on Syria. What did they do? They destroyed the cities. What right do American troops have to be in Syria? Did anyone vote for that?
No.
Did anyone vote to invade Syria? Did anyone vote for troops? Did anyone vote to spend $250 billion where we can't even have public health care in this country? The money goes to war profiteers. And guess what? Guess what? Macron announced that France is going to be staying in Syria.
Yes, that's right.
Can you believe that? This rotten, reactionary Macron government says even though the United States has left Syria, they're going to stay. And I have to say to the French working class, to the people on the streets, throw this criminal out, throw this corrupt proponent shill for the billionaires out. We don't need wars. We don't need more militarization. Our enemies are not the Chinese and the Russians. The trade war that is now developing in this world is not about helping people. It's about corporations. It's about billionaires cornering the market. In fact, when I was in France, I was at a computer conference, and what they were saying is the main issue in the computer world, from their point of view, the Europeans, is California and China against Europe.
Yep.
That's what they were saying. In other words, the competition between California and China against Europe. Now, I have to say, we live in San Francisco. This solidarity rally is for the French workers. Our struggle is not with the French people. Our struggle is not with the Russian people. Our struggle is not with the Chinese people. It's against these multinationals who pit us against each other, who make billions of dollars while people die in the streets of San Francisco. That's our real struggle. That's what the real issues are. And that's what we have to really stand up against. And one of the issues that is also going on is the role of Turkey and the attack on the Turkish academics and the rights of the Turkish people in Erdogan. And we have Emmet Byron with the Labor Net Turkey who's going to speak a little bit about that.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. First, we have to understand that anywhere in the world, when the working class rises, when there is a resistance, it is not bound only by that country. The effect goes much more than that country. So, especially in the globalized world that we are in, we have to understand that something that happens in France affects what happens here. We are bound together by being the working class of the world. So what France does, when French working class resists, it is the resistance of the working class in the United States. And what we do here affects the workers in Turkey. We have to understand when there's an oppression, the oppression that the French working class is experiencing is the same oppression that the Turkish or the Kurdish working class is experiencing in Turkey, and the American and Mexican working class that we have here, what they are experiencing. So the fight that's happening in France is the same fight that we are giving here. As Steve mentioned, there are homeless people dying on the streets of San Francisco, one of the richest cities, one of the richest states in the United States, and we have schools closing, we have hospitals closing, we have people dying on the streets, and this is not a joking matter. While we have billionaires coming out of our ears in the state. So don't take the bullshit that we have no money for the homeless, we have no money for the schools or for the libraries. We do have money, it's just in the wrong hands. It's been concentrated on a handful of assholes that keep it from us, and that's the money that we generate by working every day, by producing to them, by producing in the factories, by producing in the Silicon Valley. We are creating that wealth. It's just that it's been appropriated from us by these billionaires. So the fight in France is the fight that we have here. It's a fight not to get something from them. It is a fight to get what we created, something that belongs to us, that belongs to the homeless, that belongs to the people who don't get health care in the hospitals, who get kicked out of hospitals. It belongs to the teachers who get kicked out of schools because of school closures and privatization. So let's keep up the fight. Let's give our solidarity to our working class in France. And if they're going to bring down Macron, we need to bring down Trump here. We need to bring down Erdogan in Turkey, the torturer, the prisoner that Erdogan is. So let's bring down all these dictators, all these fascists, and get what is ours, to get something that we have created.
Don't forget to bring down their masters.
Their masters as well, yes.
Billionaires.
Billionaires who are behind the scenes, who are not, we don't see their faces every day. Thank you.